Clint Eastwood personally changed my life, and it wasn't in the way that I expected. I'll share that story with you at the end. And it wasn't through one of his movies or acting roles. It was through rejection, the opposite of what I thought I wanted in that moment. I moved to LA whenever I was 19 on a wing and a prayer and started acting. And by the grace of God, I was able to do that for almost 20 years. I started out acting because I wanted to tell stories that would change people's lives, that would shape the way they looked at the world. And I pretty quickly found out that I was only given the roles that people wanted to give me. And they wanted me to play the bad guy. So I played the bad guy over and over in a bunch of films and TV shows until one day I was like, is this it? Is this it? Telling a bunch of stories that I don't care about, characters that I don't necessarily agree with. And I felt God direct me on another path. And I boldly took that step, that leap of faith. That's why we're out here in the middle of nowhere now. But it all started with Clint. See, I heard about this film that he was doing called American Sniper. And I loved Chris Kyle. That's who that film's about. He was a fellow Texan, loved America, and ended up being tragically killed. They were making a film about it, him and Bradley Cooper. And so I got in to read for it. I went and read. It was an actor's dream. Read in Clint Eastwood's bungalow over on the Warner Brothers lot in front of his casting director, Jeffrey McClatt. And it's one of the few auditions I remember walking out of and calling my wife and being like, I nailed it. I nailed it. There's nothing else that I could have done there. I got it. I got that role. And sure enough, we got a call a couple days later. My manager did that. Hey, Clint loves Tyson. We love Tyson. Clint sends out all the contracts on a certain day in a couple weeks. And so just be looking out for that. Life changer for me. I was going to go from playing the bad guy in everything to now finally having a role that I felt like I could really sink my teeth into. And we waited and we waited. And then we saw the offers go out and my name wasn't in the casting sheet. And my manager called Jeffrey McClatt, Clint Eastwood's casting director, and he in a very apologetic tone said, look, we love Tyson. We think he's great, but Bradley Cooper owns the option he's producing and he wants his buddy, Keira O'Donnell, to play that role. And I remember that just hitting me like a ton of bricks. I was looking at God being like, what are you? You've called me to do this thing. You've given me talent for it, ability, experience, and now I don't even get the opportunity? And I remember that was really a breaking point for me. I'll never forget laying on our bed, just sobbing, crying. So disappointed, so confused. And my wife walking in, like only a good, godly woman can. And she came over, she gave me a big hug, sat with me. And I remember just saying, I said something to the effect of, I don't know, this is just too hard. I don't understand, this is too hard. How am I supposed to do this? Go through the pain. And she looked at me and she said, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. And this is the thing she said that changed everything for me on what I know is a man now. She said, it's really hard, but you were made for this. So get it out of your system and then get back to the work that God's called you to. And that's what I did. I kept working after that as an actor until God finally directed my path in a different direction. And I say all that to say, look, a man is not what Hollywood wants you to think it is. It is not some brash, overbearing, powerful. No, being a man is what the Bible tells us it is. Someone who is humble, obedient. Meek is a war horse. Dangerous in spreading the gospel. That's who a man is. And Clint, if you're watching this, it's because of you. That I now know that being a man is being able to put one foot in front of the other. To be able to keep that journey going where God has called you. And leading those around you that you've been called to steward well in that process. Not complaining about it. Not whining about it. But boldly trusting that God has set you on a path and He's given you everything that you need. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But you were made for this.